Ladies and gentlemen, you might want to settle in for this one because what you're about to hear isn't just a messy story. It's a truly legendary picture of two queens, one king, and enough animosity to fill an entire season of love and hip-hop. In a single night? Yes, you heard correctly. Remy Ma and Claressa Shields didn't just talk to each other. They actually threw hands. The video is so graphic that it should really have a warning sign. What began as a side-eye turned into a full-fledged WWE cage match. Right in front of, we're going to delve into every leaked punch, every shocking scream, and every exposed betrayal that brought two powerhouses to their knees. Trust me, this isn't just a scandal, this is history. Let's get started. You know what they say? All's fair in love and hip-hop. But after this violent meltdown, was it jealousy, betrayal, or a certain ring that Papoose allegedly promised to Claressa behind Rhee's back? Let's flip back a bit, shall we? Remy Ma, the Bronx's own rap queen, was once praised for her devotion to her bars and, let's face it, her ability to turn small annoyances into major assaults. This wasn't just some spicy Instagram tirade or petty subtweet war, folks. The cameras caught it all. Claressa Shields, the Olympic boxing champion and self-proclaimed GWAT greatest woman of all time, is the subject of Papoose's messy infatuations. Yes, Papoose, the man who kept Remy down through jail bids, public scandals, and more loyalty tests than a Maury marathon. But according to our anonymous tea spillers, loyalty expired and Claressa Shields was the frontrunner. Row and center to catch the fallout. If you thought Remy was going to play it cool and throw a shady glance and keep it pushing, think again. According to sources, Remy entered the room looking like a storm ready to erupt, her eyes darting straight to one corner of the room where Claressa and Papoose were standing, just too close for comfort. The event began innocently enough, with champagne flowing and fake smiles stretching across real enemies. Claressa, being Claressa, didn't back down. Either homegirl dared to smirk, and that, my friends, was the matchstick that lit the entire house on fire before a single hand was thrown. The words cut first, according to a leaked voice memo. Yes, someone was already recording because the industry never sleeps. This is what allegedly happened. "You could never be me, sweetheart," Remy hissed, venom dripping from every eye. At first, she didn't say a word, just stood there staring Claressa down. Syllable, "You're just a temporary thrill." Claressa allegedly responded, "At least I'm not an expired mixtape living off jail sympathy." Ouch. You could almost hear the scratching of the record as all of the celebrities in attendance tempted to appear unconcerned while surreptitiously going for their phones. One witness, who we'll call source C for dramatic effect, says, "Man, it was like time froze, Remy. Just the two women were grabbing, swinging, and swearing loudly enough to set off car alarms 3 blocks away from tables that had toppled champagne. Bottles shattered someone's wig, and no names went flying through the air like a frisbee at Coachella." The worst part is that no one intervened right away because, let's face it, nobody wanted to be the guy who took a stray punch from them. Within minutes, either Remy Ma or Claressa Shields' blurry videos of the fight appeared on Twitter, TikTok, and every dubious gossip website from Zimbabwe to here. The hashtag Remy versus Claressa, hashtag battle for PAPOOSE, hashtag bloody queens went viral. One clip, shared by a purported celebrity security insider, showed Remy snatching a piece of Claressa's wig, while Claressa swung back with the accuracy of a championship boxer. Landing a clean blow square on Remy's cheek, the crowd yelled, and phones were slipping everywhere. Remy was heard yelling across the room, "You can have him, he ain't even worth it." As the brawl finally began to be torn apart by security and organizers, Papoose was standing awkwardly to the side, trying to break up the spilled champagne, and appeared to regret every single life choice that had brought him to this point. Claressa apparently snapped back, "Oh, trust me, I already do," to which she allegedly gave a bloodied lip. The microphone drops, and the room suddenly, if you thought the actual fight was jaw-dropping, You haven't even begun to imagine the chaos that erupted afterward, because the moment Remy Ma and Claressa Shields were dragged out by security dripping sweat and attitude, the paparazzi cameras' flashes lit up the night like a 4th of July parade. But wait, you thought that was the end? Oh no, besties, because the real fallout. Lawsuits, leaked footage, and massive betrayals were just getting started. The real war moved online, and believe me, it became more obscene than anyone could have imagined. First, anonymous insiders who, let's face it, were most likely interns started sending shady blog screen grabs, voice notes, and even security camera footage from the event. One particularly grainy clip showed Papoose clumsily attempting to pull Claressa away from Remy Ma, only to get incidentally elbowed in the face. Yes, Papoose was caught in the act of poetic justice. But in the eyes of the public, it was the end. Anonymous sources, by which I mean sources who would not reveal their identities even if you paid them $1 million, started to whisper to gossip sites that this wasn't just a drunken altercation, but rather a culmination of months, if not years, of jealousy, betrayal, and a private meeting behind closed doors. One so-called family friend told a blog, "Papoose and Claressa have been messing around for a minute now. Remy, she didn't want to think that tonight was the last straw." Imagine supporting someone through court dates, jail time, and innumerable scandals, only to have your heart broken on a marble floor in front of 200 flashing cameras and the internet. Within hours, memes featuring a photoshopped Remy Ma lying on the ground, dazed with his speech bubble, saying, "Round one goes to me, sis, another." The caption for the meme said, "Bro just wanted some chicken wings, and now he's part of World War II." Papoose was in the background. Within a day, the hashtag #PAPOOSE pros went viral across the country. And phony witnesses with no video evidence but a lot of creative imagination started to emerge. One claimed that Claressa had been openly taunting Remy before the fight even began by showing off a diamond bracelet that Papoose had allegedly given her. According to an insider, Remy had already confronted Claressa backstage earlier in the evening but was reprimanded by security. However, once the cameras started rolling, an alleged leaked group chat among Papoose's close friends revealed that he confessed to being confused but happy about his relationship with Claressa. Confused but happy, sir. You just got your whole life turned into a public soap opera, and that's your statement. The public responded, and Remy Ma's fans were furious. "Loyalty is rare. Watch who's standing next to you when the storm hits," Joe wrote in a cryptic tweet. At the same time, Reminators flooded social media with prayers, angry posts, and a few poorly edited deepfakes that showed Remy knocking out Claressa in fictitious rematches. Claressa's fans, on the other hand, doubled down, calling Remy washed up and pressed, and portraying Claressa as the victorious underdog who finally snatched her crown and her man. The fact that everyone assumed right away that it was a jab at Papoose, Cardi B, always the messy queen, who just tweeted 3 popcorn emojis and let the internet do the rest. Then, because the universe has a sick sense of humor, video from a private after-party appeared in which Claressa was purportedly seen boasting about winning 2 rings in one night, one on her finger and one that once belonged to Rhee's heart. Clearly, Claressa's team hurried to repair the damage, claiming she was kidding and that her remarks were taken out of context. However, by then, the story was set in stone for the public. Claressa wasn't just a champion in the ring. She was the one who, in front of the world, knocked Remy Ma's pride, dignity, and relationship to the ground. Meanwhile, Remy Ma remained suspiciously silent, posting no shady tweets or diss tracks on Instagram. But sources close to her said she was processing everything and thinking about her legal options, particularly in light of the injuries she allegedly sustained during the altercation. Yes, you heard that right. The event organizers are reportedly in hot water as well, with leaked emails indicating that security was warned beforehand about the tension between the 2 women and still failed to prevent the brawl. This means that there could be multiple lawsuits flying around very soon, including civil suits, criminal complaints, public relations, nightmares, and more. Claressa is reportedly being prepared to face a hefty lawsuit for assault, emotional distress, public defamation, and who knows what else besides Claressa. While Claressa's management is attempting to turn the controversy into a publicity win. Sources claim that some sponsors are renouncing their association with violence because, while knocking out people in a ring is apparently acceptable, knocking out Remy Ma is allegedly on the verge of finalizing a multi-million-dollar brand partnership before this fiasco blew up her image like a cheap firework. Rappers at cocktail parties aren't exactly brand-friendly. And standing in the middle of this dumpster fire, poor, confused, and regretting everything, Papoose, who has reportedly been quietly trying to make amends with both women behind closed doors, is a man who is living proof that sometimes having two women in your life is more of a nightmare than a fantasy. Because after fists flew, wigs were stolen, and reputations were trampled underfoot like cheap carpet, the real bombs began. Whispers turned into full-fledged sirens within 48 hours of the footage leaking. And Remy Ma's team formally filed preliminary paperwork for an assault lawsuit against Claressa Shields. Yes, the full government names the lawyers involved, and court dates are being discreetly discussed in the back rooms of law firms. Sources close to Remy claim she's demanding damages not only for physical injuries like bruised cheekbones and sprained wrists, but also for emotional distress. Additionally, for monetary losses because, as you may recall, the brand deal Remy was about to secure vanished as if it had never happened. It turns out that the company, a major fashion label that was rumored to be worth six figures, withdrew hours after seeing Remy's face trending for all the wrong reasons. That wasn't the only check that was stolen. Other sponsorships, collaborations, even a potential Netflix documentary deal reportedly started to disappear faster than you could say bad PR. Meanwhile, Claressa wasn't exactly sitting pretty. Several companies that had previously promoted her as a role model were now reconsidering their decisions. One energy drink company reportedly suspended her endorsement indefinitely, while a sporting goods company discreetly removed her image from their website. To add even more salt to this disaster stew, the event planners who threw the party where the fight broke out are now facing legal threats of their own. It turns out that Remy Ma's team is investigating negligence claims, accusing the organizers of failing to provide proper security in spite of known tensions between Remy and Claressa. And guess what? Emails began to leak because in 2025, nothing is kept secret, not even poorly worded internal warnings. One leaked email purportedly showed a staffer expressing concerns about keeping Claressa and Remy apart at the event. Wow. It was flagged, discussed, and ignored, which now makes the organizers appear not only incompetent, but also possibly liable for the entire bloody circus that transpired. In some way, the original focal point of all this drama attempted to keep his head in an attempt to diffuse the situation. Papoose has been contacting Remy and Claressa separately. According to down sources, he has been keeping quiet and refusing to publicly take sides. But in private, the tea is hotter. He has reportedly been apologizing profusely to Remy while still keeping up a complicated friendship with Claressa. 2. Put it another way, Papoose's Instagram comments are a memes depicting him juggling two phones with the label's wife, and side chick went viral within minutes. And even neutral fans are now pleading with him to choose one or, at the very least, choose a therapist. Meanwhile, Remy Ma's publicist issued a statement that, although it appeared professional on the surface, was actually a scorched earth shade. Reminisce Mackie is focusing on her recovery. her family, and her future endeavors, she refuses to let temporary distractions deter her away from her goal. I'm not sure what Claressa's camp is trying to do to salvage her image, but she posted a note saying, Claressa regrets that emotions escalated but remains proud to stand up for herself in the face of public disrespect. If that isn't a backhanded slap disguised as a PR statement, I don't know what it is. If you read between the lines, it basically says, yeah, I clocked her and I'd do it again. Just when the internet thought things might settle down, leaked direct messages appeared that purportedly showed Claressa and Papoose still communicating in spite of the fallout messages, like, sorry it went down like that. I still got mad love for you. Screenshots of the messages went viral on all the major gossip blogs within hours. And new hashtags like hashtag Remy deserved better. Hashtag Papoose single quotes as plays too much hash Claressa caught slipping appeared. You thought fans were furious before? Multiply that by 10 petitions that began to demand that brands stop using Claressa completely. While this was going on, Remy Ma's supporters demanded that she release a diss track and end her career. Rumor even suggested that Remy had gone to the studio within 24 hours of leaving the emergency room because, let's face it, nothing soothes a bruised ego like a brutal 16 bars. Behind the scenes, the legal teams for both women were preparing for a protracted battle with lawyers requesting security footage, compiling witness lists, and allegedly getting ready for a messy televised trial. Settlements aren't reached quickly because, let's face it, neither Remy Ma and Claressa Shields cannot afford to ignore this. The world is eagerly awaiting updates, as if it were the next season of Power. The saddest part of all is that these three individuals, who once ruled their respective kingdoms, are now embroiled in a scandal so messy that even if they win the lawsuits, they have already lost the most important thing, the trust of their supporters. Popcorn in hand, wondering who is lying, who is manipulating, and who is going to crash and burn first. As of right now, no one is winning, no one is clean, and no one's career is safe. Therefore, the next time you see someone posting relationship goals, memes about forgiveness and loyalty, think back to this night's fight between Remy and Claressa. And keep in mind that sometimes the biggest battles aren't fought in the ring or the booth, but rather in hotel ballrooms with poor lighting while everyone else laughs and continues to scroll. The next episode is just one poor choice away, so stay tuned, because if there's one thing this story has taught us, it's that real life is messier, bloodier, and far more entertaining than any reality show. And that's it, people. The bloody, brutal, and completely unbelievable story of Remy Ma and Claressa Shields fighting over Papoose and destroying the internet. The real question is, though, who do you think is fighting for her dignity, Remy Ma, the heartbroken queen, or Claressa Shields, the new champion? Refuse to back down. What about Papoose? Is he a victim caught in the crossfire, or the real puppet master pulling the strings? One thing is certain, though, this battle is far from over. Let us know in the comments which side you support: Remy, Team Claressa, or Team They All Need Therapy. If you believe that this scandal is the most outrageous thing that 2025 has to offer, make sure to hit the like button. If you want to stay up to date on the next round of leaked footage, lawsuit drama, and diss track warfare, subscribe to Celebrity Card. Trust me, the tea is just getting started.